Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
About pivot hinges.
Center pivot hinges, okay.
I'm kind of new to the whole category, and I'm basically looking to get a flush floor to ceiling look with the doors that I'm installing. And I was looking originally at the Rixson center hung pivot hinge, the 128 3/4. And what I didn't realize is it requires that you need to radius the door. Or it says I need to radius the door, which I'd rather not do.
It doesn't require it, but if you want to have the tightest margin possible, you'll want to radius or bullnose the door.
Yeah, we're trying to, I'm trying to make it as tight as humanly possible. So I don't know how much it doesn't actually tell you how much you need to radius the door, but I'm assuming at least, I don't know, a quarter inch or something like that.
Well, no. Is the door single acting or double acting?
Single acting.
Okay, so you're not going to radius it. You're going to bullnose it. Think of the top row of tile in the bathroom. That's bullnosed. And generally, you'd be able to run, if you were going to radius the door, that would permit a double acting application. Well, you don't need to radius both faces of the door. You need to do just the pull side. And right. I've seen people use a 3/4 inch round over bit. The proper radius the proper diameter for a radius would be 1.5 inches, but they must show on the template what they want from you there. I would say for the 128 3/4 is going to call out what is necessary on that template. At least it should.
Is there a way to kind of adjust the placement of the hinge itself? Basically, is there a way to limit the amount? Yeah.
Okay. So all you're going to do is you're just going to increase that margin between the jamb and the edge of the door to about 1/4 inch.
Okay. Or I guess I could I bullnose, or I don't know what it would be called, the jamb?
It's funny you say that. If you pulled up a hardware catalog from about the year 1890, you're going to see lots of details on that application, and that's exactly correct. You could create a ball groove in your jamb. I would also say that that's going to be far more technically difficult than doing a door.
Right.
But yes, that concept certainly does exist. I don't know that I've ever actually seen it myself, but I've seen it detailed.
It may, just thinking about it, I think it would accomplish the same task, right? It's just providing clearance, yeah. Okay, alternatively, I came across a set of hardware that you have on your website, the Hager 500.
Okay.
That apparently gets rid of the requirement for bullnose or radius. I don't know. What's your feelings on it? Apparently it moves or something when you... Yeah,
it does. There's a rack and pinion at the bottom, and as you open the door, as the door pivots open, it does draw the door away from the jamb. So it exactly, I would say that the way you've described it is accurate.
They people buy this?
Not often, but every once in a while, someone buys it for the exact reason that you've mentioned.
Okay, just that the Rixsons, they're pretty well known. But this Hager, I just happened to come across it. I wasn't sure if it's obviously pretty expensive. Yeah.
Hager was in business for 50 years before Rixson was even a twinkle in its daddy's eye.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've got a Hager catalog on my desk. I am being honest, from 1915. I've got it open right now.
Wow.
There's no 500 in there, and they made a lot of wrought iron goods in 1915. But what's interesting is their common hinge. It's the same part number that they use in 2019.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So the bottom line is, you could definitely take your Hager 500, and you're going to be able to maintain the typical gap between the edge of the door and frame, and it will work. I mean, they want 3/32 of an inch, in fact, which is even smaller than typical 1/8 of an inch.
Right.
And it's used for that purpose. The downside, though, is the cost. It is double the cost of a Rixson 128, or more than double. But it is a cool hinge, and people use it when they got to be slick. Because the problem that you have when you radius or bullnose a door, so a radius is just a double bullnose. If you're going to bullnose both faces of the door, both elevations, let's just call it a radius. So the downside of bullnosing or radiusing it, in your mind's eye, imagine that you're taking your round over bit and you're going over the edge of the door. What you will then reveal is the different layers of what makes up the skin of that door. So if you've got a typical architectural wood door and it's a 5-ply door, well, there's 5 plies, just like plywood. So you're going to take those 2 plies and then the core or then the style, and you're going to accentuate those. So you need to come up with a way to think about, how is that not going to look horrible? And if you're painting it, it's no problem. But if it's cherry and you've got a dark backer underneath your 50 thousandths veneer, you're going to see that dark backer because you're slicing through it as if you would if you're going to rift cut or quarter saw a log. You could, find pictures online of what that looks like. But so be mindful of that. The Hager does avoid that trouble.
Yeah, that's actually exactly the reason that I'm looking for an alternative or a way to get around doing that, because I know once we do cut into it, it's going to be a noticeable difference for sure. The question is whether I want to take a chance and try to mess around with the jam or just prevent it altogether and go with the Hagers. I just wasn't sure if they're reliable, just because I haven't seen any reviews on the Hagers. But I guess
that's a good question. I've been selling these things for years, probably 20 years, and I probably haven't sold more than 20. But I've never heard one come back. Never. And I know that they're used in hospital situations, so they obviously can handle volume beyond residential if that's what your application is. It's
resident, I mean, and it's not, not in a high traffic area either. It's for closets. Out of curiosity, in 20 years, how many Rixsons have you sold?
Thousands.
Thousands. Yeah. That's my dilemma.
And none of those have ever failed either.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm gonna do a mock-up. I think that's the best way to do it. I'm gonna do a mock-up. If the Rixsons don't work out, then I'll go with these Hagers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be very neat. If now, speaking of the Rixson product, what lead time do you have before you want the pivot in your hand? Do you have a week or 2 weeks?
I do, yeah, totally.
Okay,
I have 2 weeks.
Okay, so you'll want to consider the ABH, Architectural Builders Hardware, the ABH 0128. And if you notice the similarity in the part number, it's no coincidence. It is identical in every respect, except that it's about 20 or 30% less expensive. They just need a week or so to get it made up and shipped.
Oh, this is your brand, ABH.
No, we're ABS.
No?
ABH is a very different company. And I only suggest it because it is less expensive. I can't make an argument for the Rixson product on this type of item comparing the two companies because there is no clear advantage of one over the other, with the exception that one is simply
identical. Yeah.
You could use the template from the Rixson to install the ABH. That's how identical they are.
Really? Okay. That is a very useful piece of information, to be honest. Okay. I'll totally do that. And a week. I have about 2.5 weeks before I need this. So.
Yeah, so I would get the material on order the first half of this week so that it's in hand before you actually need to have it.
Right. Okay. You know what? I can do that right now. Okay. Perfect. All right. Thanks, Richard. You've been very helpful. I appreciate it.
We're here when you're ready, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program.